What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since I made an episode. I was learning this new machine and I was trying to make my own guitar necks, and in this episode I'm going to show you exactly what I did to get from this MDF sample, which is what the Vectric program will be making. And then after some sanding, you can get yourself into a beautiful neck. Alright, so we're here in my new office, which is right next to the machine. I spent a lot of time on this computer getting tool paths and designs done. This is my version of a Telly style neck, and this is the test MDF piece that we're going to end up with once it's all carved out. You can see that nothing is obviously sanded into a radius yet, but this gets me started to where I can start sanding and shaping. I am going to do, on the next one, I'm going to make some changes, do a radius bit here and get these sharper corners out of here because they were a little harder to sand out than I was hoping. And once again, the only reason I'm really doing all this is because Vectric is really not for modeling, so I can't really, at least from my knowledge, I'm a very beginner as far as this program goes. I'm probably 3 months into this program. So anyways, so here's what we've got. This is a 25.5 inch scale neck. The fretboard is actually a separate file for that toolpath, but I still have it in this particular file so that I can reference, drag it over. You can see right here I've got a center mark where the center of the project is, so I can slide it back over and off and reuse it. And I believe, yeah, it's all grouped. When I can click on it and it's all purple, I've grouped that together with my grouping icon there. And so this was a 1 5/8 nut width spacing, and it's a nice narrow neck. I really like it. So here's the actual final product. I haven't buffed it yet. It's got some mistakes that I need to fix. The toolpath for down here and the shaping went too far down. I ended up biting down into where the neck is going to mount, and on this particular guitar I'll shape that heel so this will work, and I'll probably end up keeping this first one for myself because there's a lot of learning on this one anyways, and I really like the way this neck feels. So this is cast acrylic that I've inlaid in here from Cone Acrylics. They're out of Canada. It got really thin in this ampersand right here. Before I put it in, I kind of tried to break it slightly. I didn't go for it, but it's pretty strong stuff and it works really well. So I'm really happy with the inlay on that. So this is what we were going for, and this is what we started with. This is what the maple looked like when I was done. Obviously these tuner holes didn't drill all the way through on this test piece, but I fixed that on the maple one. And then whatever truss rod you end up with, you're going to have to create a new tool path for that. So I have a few different ones that I've had over the years. So I stuffed one from a Squire neck in this one. The next one will probably have to draw up a different style truss rod. So we'll go into the toolpath aspect of this. And if you're familiar with Vectric, mostly what I used for this is just the profile toolpath, and the pocket toolpath is pretty much all I needed to get this done with various bits. And I can go through what bits I used as well. Okay, so this is just our piece of maple that we're starting with. So I did the headstock pocket that's going to get a bigger surface than the actual head is. It's this first one right here. And this particular one, I used an end mill that just gave me a straight line here. I'm going to change that so that I get a radius bit right here and it's a little smoother so I can sand that a little easier. This was kind of tough to just start standing on such a cornered surface like that. But anyway, so here we'll see what it does. So now it's got a pocket to deal with right here. Well, here, it just did the whole thing. So, okay, no big deal. Basically, this is what you're going to end up with when you're all said and done. Yeah, I've got some tabs. I believe it's 6 tabs, one on the bottom. And these are my alignment holes that just work with this particular fretboard because the ampersand inlays over those. Your proper thickness of your headstock. I put the pins, this was all inlaid and the fret slots were cut on the fretboard, which you'll see. And then when I glued it together, I had the pins sitting in the pins holes on the neck itself. Again, the truss rod stuff was a little tough. I'm still tooling up for that to do it the way Fender does. I just gave myself a nice big adjustment hole to get an Allen in there that an Allen can turn and not. Some guitars you'll notice that you can, if you go too far with your Allen wrench while you're tightening up your truss rod, you will damage the wood. But I just gave myself a utilitarian hole there just to make it work. I kind of like it actually. This whole guitar is just so, you know, barnwood style, which is one of my favorite things to do anyways. Basically a utilitarian guitar anyway. I don't know what kind of questions you would have if you were looking at this. Let's go 3D view again. So like I say, it's something that you can go from here and carve and sand and shape like I did. I just put the heel in a vise and just let her rip. It was kind of hand cramping. I'm gonna, on the next version of this, I am gonna get a little bit more out of the corners right here, so that it's not such a sharp corner to start sanding. I would like to get a little more material off to help me out there. Weird on here. So I made what would be the strings going to the tuner holes so that I could get alignments for my tuner holes up here where the strings would end up. I made myself a nut down here that was the 0.2502 string spacing. So basically I made a little rectangle of that size and then just connected them together, and then obviously trimmed off the ends to make this a 1 5/8 width nut. And I don't need that, but I used it in reference to just how the neck was going to be shaped and sized and everything. So I don't really need that for tool pass, but I just have it for a reference point. So I'm going to go ahead, well, like I said, I need to save that. So anyways, so there it is. That's how I did it on this particular one. It turned out awesome. There was a whole lot of shaping, a whole lot of sanding to get to this point. If you look, I had some chip out that I had to glue back on the heel. There's still a router line there because of the bit that I use that I'm not going to do again. Like I said, I'll use a radius bit there. And there's a little bit of that same thing going on right there. So this isn't necessarily a neck that I would try to sell to a customer just because it does have so many small little mistakes on it. But as far as being a usable neck, it's really nice. I'm really happy with it. I've got stainless frets that I put on there, medium, that I got a bunch from StewMac. The nut, I believe, was from StewMac as well. I've had this laying around forever, like 4 years this has been sitting around. Of course, our brand on there. Right now I am currently working on, I've got my tilt back neck right here. That is going to be the next project for our Leslie model. So I basically just took what I had from the Tele neck and changed quite a bit actually. So now it's got the strat pocket at the radius bottom here. You can see what I'm going to be doing. You can see here how I changed my tool paths for this whole back carve out here. It's much wider, and it's going to have this one here will be for a profile, inner profile only. It won't be a pocket to do everything, but that will be my radius bit. So it's basically going to miss the neck entirely and then come in, do my radius by the heel, miss entirely, come through and do the radius by the headstock, and that's all it's going to do. And then I'll get a different bit going on to do the whole pocket for this one here. So I haven't created those tool paths yet because I haven't done any tool paths for the tilt back neck yet. But anyways, you can see the headstock design. This diamond will be aluminum. It'll have engraving with our alder and main on there. And then you can see I'm going to probably have to do, I have a jig that I've made where this will sit on the table like so that the headstock is flat. And then you'll see this tool path I made last night. That's basically going to be a pocket profile that'll follow in here with a 1/4 inch bit, cut out that shape of the headstock, drill the holes, do the recess of the diamond, and then this will be flipped back over to sit on the table like so on the jig, surfaced, and the truss rod and all the other stuff as well. And I have a whole nother fretboard design for that. Once again, folks, thank you for watching. This whole kind of different style, I'm trying to figure out how to do my episodes in a little different way. to also include what I'm doing on Vectric, a way that I can show you my way of doing things so far. Like I said, I'm only 3 months into this, so I may a year from now have a completely different, maybe I'll have a spire by then, I don't know what I'm gonna do, that would carve the entire neck out for me, which would be nice. But I also like the option of being able to put my hands on this and feel what this contour feels like and just change it. The radius that I would have out of a spire would be quite large, and I could still sand and shape it if I wanted a skinnier feel. Anyways, once again, folks, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on All That Remain.